Which one can I go to? Oh, that one. That looks kind of cool. All right, cool. All right, so now we're talking about Sinners. Warren is in the building. What's up, Extra Bullet? It's on my channel playlist. Okay, but now let me do a little setup.
Oh my God, that movie was
again for anybody who don't want spoilers. I'm letting y'all know now. While this is up, this is what we will be talking about. So if you don't mind, some people don't mind spoilers. They like, yo, I'm gonna go see it any damn way. That's cool. And if you haven't, and if you have seen it and you got things to add to the conversation, cool. I love that. But Sinners is the new Ryan Coogler movie out. For y'all who's like, okay, been under a rock and don't know who Michael. I did this the other day in the video. I had to edit it. I threw their names together. Ryan Coogler movie starring Michael B. Jordan. Ryan Coogler did the Creed movies, Black Panther, Fruitvale Station, and so this dude just came out and literally like the old NBA Jam has been nothing on fire. Everything he's been releasing. This movie right here, it's set in 1932, Mississippi. And there's a whole lot going on. I mean, I don't know. Should I set up more, or should we just go on ahead and talk about it? Or should
y'all need to go see it. Fuck that. I pay my ticket for y'all to go get off your ass to go see it.
In fact, we're going to go see it again in IMAX.
I'm gonna go see it again day after tomorrow.
We're going to see it again. So definitely recommend y'all see this.
Because Lord have mercy.
Let's go ahead and get into this. So I guess I'll lay it for those who didn't see it, but you fine with hearing the spoilers and all that. I'm gonna go ahead and just lay out a quick synopsis of it. Michael B is playing Smoke and play the trailer. Should I play the trailer?
Oh fuck yeah, play the trailer.
All right, let me go see. Let me go find it.
Hey, Emmanuel. I'm glad to see you here. So, Chris H. A lavender marriage is when a woman marries a man who is actually gay and is okay with it or whatever have you. And it's pretty much transactional. I'm looking for a lavender marriage too. That works too because I'm not with the bullshit no more. But yeah, it keeps that man covered so he don't get lynched by the people because he like be out there doing fairy shit. And you okay with him out doing their own fairy shit because y'all don't even touch. Lucille Ball and Ricky Ricardo probably had a lavender marriage. They didn't sleep in the same beds.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, it is Hollywood. And
you know what I'm saying?
Actors and acting community is known for a lot of them people to be not necessarily straight. A lot of them. And we're talking about men and women. But we got it. Here's the official trailer. So we're going to go ahead and play this real quick, and then let's talk about it on the other side.
I've been all over this world. I seen men die in ways I ain't even know was possible. Hey, brother, be careful. I will. With all the things that I've seen, I ain't ever seen no demons, no ghosts, no magic. Till now. To get back inside. Let me in, man. Some weird shit going on out here. You keep dancing with the devil. You gotta let me in. day he's gonna follow you home.
That shit ain't even, it don't even do the thing for the thing. It showed y'all some good shit though. It really did. So first off, let me stop gushing. Let me be a girl and gush for a second. Them men was fun. I would have loved a man in that time. I love the 1930s. I think one of my past lives, I was in the 1930s. I have weird dreams about me living in that time. Like some of my most lucid dreams, I go back to that era multiple times. It's like another universe, but I love that time. Them men was fun as hell. Oh my God, they did a good job on Michael. Who child? All right, off that. Storyline plot, amazing. Favorite character, Annie. That's my dog. I loved Annie. Annie was so beautiful. Annie was so true to her fucking roots. I loved everything about it. Like, for instance, this is my mojo bag that I keep on me at all times. I had that mojo bag on me while I was in surgery the whole night. Like, seeing that shit and having one was amazing. I said, this movie is accurate as hell. Ryan did his fucking thing. Man, listen.
Should I give the synopsis first? Let me give a synopsis first.
Y'all gotta go see it. Fine.
For the people who ain't seen it, we gotta get us some.
Y'all need to go see it
so that we'll know what we're talking about. Because some people like, I'll wait till it come out on video. I don't give a damn about spoilers. Wow. Basically, you have Smoke and Stack, which are two twin brothers who are originally from Mississippi. They leave and move off to Chicago to do some untold things. We don't know what happens. Anyway, they come back to Memphis, and their idea is to open.
They're not from Memphis. They're from Mississippi.
I mean Mississippi. Sorry. Apologies. Mississippi. Move back to Mississippi to open a juke joint. And so the first part of the movie is them setting everything up and getting everything ready. As they set everything and get everything up ready, you have the character Sammy, which is introduced, which is their little cousin, who is a guitar player. Who sings and plays the blues. And then it goes into some of their previous relationships and things that were going on before they left. Like Teal brought up about Annie with Smoke, and then Stack, his previous relationship he had with Mary, which Mary is a mixed girl who passes as white, who he's with. And then Smoke is with Mary, who has deep ties with hoodoo and voodoo and spirituality and things like that, which they kind of have like a estranged marriage kind of situation. And so him coming back and they deal with that. And you have the situation with Stack where he's with Mary, and it's kind of like hey, I tried to hit and quit and get away. But they kind of were partially raised with her, and she's back in town because of the passing of her mother. So you see them assembling the crew. You have the jukebox, them setting up the juke joint, and Sammy, their little cousin, they call him the preacher's. He's the preacher's son, and his father. He has this battle going back and forth with his father about playing the devil's music and kind of walking away from the church in a sense. So fast forward all that stuff, they get to the juke joint. And there is Remick, this character, which they show him, which he is fleeing from Choctaw. He's fleeing from the Choctaws, and he runs across these couple of clan members, husband and wife. Anyway, he's the vampire. He turns them, and then they go to search out the juke joint, because they hear the music and the spirituality attracts this demon. Anyway, once the vampire gets there, one of the characters walks out, gets infected, and then it turns into a whole snowball effect. So there's the synopsis real quick. So now let's get into it. Back to you, Tim.
Okay. The twin shit was amazing. All the people that saying that this movie is demonic can suck a fat one. Go salad toss Shannon Sharp. For real. That shit pisses me off. It's not demonic at all whatsoever. If anything, it's super, super spiritual. I loved every moment of that movie. That thing was amazing. From the twins encounter, like from being able to look at the twins and seeing the symbolism in what they were, their wardrobe, understanding that Stack was always going to be the one in red. Stack was always going to be the bad guy. If you notice, when he got changed, his shit, he the only man that I seen with a black beater on. How you got a black wife beater in 1932?
That is kind of crazy.
Like that vest fit real nice, like, you know what I'm saying? He was his whole character, his whole demeanor. We always knew Stack was going to be that one. But if y'all do pay attention to a lot of the things throughout it, just breaking down those two characters in a sense, understanding where they came from in Yoruba culture as far as the twins, and what they stand for in, like, you know what I'm saying, the entire thing, because he brought over Yoruba from West Africa, and he highlighted a lot of it. And I've been around a lot of them. I wanted to cross over to Ifa. I really appreciated how he shed a beautiful light to that, as well as seeing how it transformed into hoodooism when it got to the South, and how it had its sprinkle of like Haiti, West Africa, and how all of that came in. You feel what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. My man's was wild shit. But if you watch the movie, you'll notice how that he even portrayed the twins down to a T. If you ever get into reading about the twins in Yoruba, is one was always there for the other. Not once did Stack kill anybody. Not once did Stack like shoot at anybody. He never used his gun. He gave it to Mary. He didn't stab the snake in the beginning. He gave the knife to Smoke. Smoke was about that action. Smoke was always about that action. And at the end, when you see him trying to roll that fucking cigarette, I felt for my nigga, because he had tremors, because they were in World War I. You know what I'm saying? He had tremors coming back because he was the one catching the bodies. He killed their daddy. Smoke killed their daddy. He shot those two dudes in town. He was the one capping everybody. He didn't care. Like, Stack didn't do that. Stack was a good boy, low key. Stack was a little softer, even though he didn't act it. But that movie's so good. Off to that, Annie. Fucking Annie, the hoodoo priestess. Always believe y'all hoodoo priestess, because she knows about all the fuckery that's gonna happen. See how she told them they were vampires? They was like, oh shit. They didn't even question her ass. The whole town knows she the town witch. I love that for her. I really do. And I felt for her when they talked about her losing her son in that part. Like, he brought in so much shit into this movie, Marcus. Oh my fucking God.
He was a daughter.
Huh?
Was it a daughter or a son?
Mm-mm. It was a boy. Lost his son. That shit was crazy fucking work. Oh my God, that whole movie was amazing. The clan was coming anyway. If you heard Remick was telling them about the clan anyway. That kind of like was wild as hell. The racial connotation that it had over it wasn't super thick. I appreciated that part. I'm glad that it wasn't a slave movie with vampires. You get what I'm saying? I really appreciated that part. But yeah, the slave like parts that he brought into it were fucking amazing, from the wooden coins. Like, this shit was so dope, bro. Growing up in the South and seeing how these motherfuckers really was acting is insane. Like, it was so well put together. Fuck Grace. Sorry. The Asian girl.
Yeah.
Fuck Grace. I get that she shopped and she owned the shop for the white people, but she threw my boys under the bus quick. She was like, yeah, we came to party. We ain't came to deal with this. What? Come on, bro. They put money in your pocket. You ain't ready to just, you know what I'm saying, hunker down for the night? No, because you let them in. Arr, she let them fucking in. I hated her for that shit. Mary, her and her one drop rule, that was kind of wild, crazy that they would even bring that up in the first place. And that's all. I'll stop there. Sorry, Marcus. I really enjoyed it.
I'll go into, since Yonina brought up this about the white people hated on this movie, I'll go into some of the first like controversy stuff that was brought up about this. First off, Hollywood had a problem with this movie. And I don't think it was because of this movie at all. It was because of what this movie represented and what this movie could represent. It could represent a break from traditional business in the way Hollywood does business with becoming directors and writers. The way that he did this deal, they had to hope this movie doesn't do well. Because the deal which he set up with the studio was after 25 years, he owns the rights to it and make money. So if this thing doesn't do well, then they basically get their money off of it, and he ends up, holding the bag with basically not getting any profits. But if it does do well, he has the ability to make tons of money off of this and eventually be able to separate off to be able to do his own thing and possibly let's say it makes billions and billions of dollars. He's able to set up and eventually do his own studio in another 25 years by himself.
Yep.
Away from them. And so not only do you got a young Black director who having the ability and autonomy to be able to do things on his own, you also lose the talent in being able to milk off of his ideas and creativity for success and money that you can make. So it's a double-edged sword why they want this to do bad. Because if it does bad, then he has to keep crawling back to them.
Mm-hmm.
Still keep benefiting and making money off of his intelligence and his smarts. That's the first thing. Then you brought in about, because I got my notes over here, so I got a little whiteboard where I wrote down. So you had the white walkouts. You had a lot of people who walked out of this movie. For one, why the fuck you go into a movie, especially expensive movies are these days?
Hey,
Any day, I don't walk out of no movie. I'm gonna watch. I don't care how bad the movie is. I'm gonna watch that bitch to the end because I paid the money for it. I'm gonna watch it and then I'll shit on it afterwards. But I'm going to watch. I don't know. I'm one of those people. I believe in completion and finishing things. So,
I hear you.
Mm-hmm.
My thing is this is for the white people right here. I instantly saw Sinners and her SWV and Escape in the back saying this is for the niggas, strictly for the niggas. Like, this is our movie. If you look at this man's entire catalog, you don't see a little similarity in all his movies. He do black ass movies. All of his movies is black as fuck. The only reason white people be in Black Panther is because it's Disney, and they had to add some. They had to sprinkle a little bit. So Disney was like,
well, if you're gonna put America in it, you're gonna have some white people involved in America. So
yeah, but you get what I'm saying. Like, we gonna make this it's a black movie. It's like a Spike Lee joint. He the new Spike Lee for this. Well, he's not. He's Ryan Coogler, but he's the Spike Lee for our generation. He doing the black movie. He's trying to make it as black as he can make it. So every white person that decided to go spend a ticket on that black man's pocket, you already did it. So thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
He's telling movies from a black perspective. Which that's something that's the reason why these movies are anything he put out is going to make money because we don't see the representation, not in a good way. You got basically all you got out there is you got Tyler Perry putting out fucking telenovelas basically. And people are just tired of his shit. And a lot of his storylines is just garbage. You put a bunch of beautiful people and think that's going to paper over it and be good enough. It's not. But this is something that's creative and different. You had you had Hollywood already hating white people. Then you had the Christian TikTok people. The Christian people pissed me off. You motherfuckers went to a movie about vampires called Sinners, and you're mad about the movie? The fuck are you talking about here? You're mad about, oh, well, look how you walked away from the church. What do you think this movie is going to be about?
Not to mention,
stay your ass at home and watch Passions of the Christ 3 more times. How about that? Don't waste your time coming to a movie about this. You can see in the trailer what the hell this is about.
You could have Googled
Sinners was going to be that, oh, it's going to be punishing the sinners. Like, are you people fucking retarded? I mean, that's right. We're not supposed to say that word. But this is what y'all acting like when y'all do dumbass shit like this. I watched one lady who was like, it was so beautiful and all that, but I mean, and Ryan Coogler did his thing, but I had to get up out of there because my spirit as a Muslim would.
Oh, Jesus.
What are you doing at the movie? What are you doing at that movie in particular? Yes, I've seen Jones Plantation. It's good film. Another people who I had beef with. So that deals with the white walkouts because they didn't like certain scenes. They felt it was too black. Basically, he showed you that that's what he's doing. He's doing movies from a black perspective. One
of his movies has the word black.
I mean, well, technically 2 of them.
Thank you.
So,
come on now. It's literally named after the political party.
You got that going on. Then let's see. Then you had a couple of positive perspectives I've seen, and then the one big negative that I heard, and I was gonna show a little video about it. But I figure I can do it on my own. I don't really need to show her video, but shout out to the people who did TikToks on this. They talked about Latinos crashing out about this movie. Now, there's probably some, but mainly most of the smoke that I heard comes from one guy. His name is Matthew Torres, which this is the same dude who he want representation, but when they did Miles Morales, he's like, that's a black movie. So it already show you what time he on. He only want to see Mexicans who look like him featured in movies, and he's all about Mexicans need to be centered. That's what he's on. And there's never this criticism when it's a predominantly white movie. You just have this criticism that black people need to put you on or put on your people. Now here's the thing about it. This is the same type of person, I can guarantee you, that make a movie and he ain't gonna have no problems if it be some shit in like the Bay Area or LA where black people and Hispanic people are intermingling, and he would have no problem with them not putting a single black person on. Plus, some of the critiques, which I heard people say, is in a lot of the Latino community, they don't even want to feature darker or Afro Latinos. And so if you're not even featuring black people within your own community, because they're Afro Mexicans, you're not even featuring Afro Mexicans, and you don't want to put them first and foremost. Why do you feel a black American needs to put you first and foremost? Also, this is not a movie about you. He can do other movies if he decides to put you in there, or movies where he just decides to focus on what he want to focus on. You're gonna tell me that in Mississippi that there were not black people who did not have no interactions with Mexicans or Hispanic populations? You telling me that? You think that segregation didn't work, that it was only black and white? You think that a lot of the Asians didn't stick to their own? You think a lot of the natives didn't stick to their own? You think so that whole mentality of thinking that we need to shoehorn this Mexican and black relationship into the movie, I get if you don't like it personally, but to make all this smoke and fluff about it is BS. Also, let's go into a little historical time period. It's 1932, right after Mexican Repatriation Act, when they were deporting a lot of Mexicans out of this country in general. So there weren't even a lot of Mexicans who would have been around at that time, even if they would have been cool. The Asian people you saw were the two Asian people who they do business with. These were business partners, which if you go through Mexican history, there is a huge strain of definitely Chinese who were down there in Mississippi who were doing business with black people, because Chinese did business with everybody because they were able to work back and forth across the white and the black lines.
Yep. And Native you saw that. Yo, Ryan
themselves for the most part.
Ryan pointed that shit out too.
So let's chop that up. And then he talked about Ryan Coogler not giving flowers to Dusk Till Dawn, because that's a Mexican vampire movie. For one, Dusk Till Dawn is not a Mexican vampire movie. It was set in Mexico. It is a movie about two white brothers who are criminals. And you had a couple of Mexican characters who were thrown in there. It didn't go into any kind of Mexican culture. It didn't go into any kind of folklore about the vampires and having some Mexican tradition or hoodoo or mythology. None of that. It was a slop B-rate movie, and Mexicans were casted in the background of it, which if you really go back and look at the movie, some of this shit was kind of insulting to Mexican people. So calling it a Mexican movie is wild to me. If I talk to anybody who saw Dusk Till Dawn and ask them, do you consider Dusk Till Dawn a Mexican movie? No, I highly doubt anybody is going to say yes. Okay, you had Cheech Marin as the bartender. You had Selma Hayek, which that's the only Mexican person who was very memorable in that movie, because she was the siren who got everybody's attention. Mm-hmm. So you have two white brothers. That's and so you saying that basically Sinners is a ripoff of that? You got vampires, you got two brothers who had a criminal past and a juke joint. That's it. That's what you weighed on. But what about the other influences, which Ryan Coogler himself said? He literally even said that, yes, Dusk Till Dawn did give him a hint of influence, but he out of his own mouth, he said he got a lot of influence from the movie The Faculty. Also, let's factor in how much of this movie had traces and influences from all kind of other vampire movies about having to be accepted to come in through the door, things like that. About how they did, and also the vampires were completely different the way he did it in this movie. Smoke and Stack, their relationship was far more richer. This movie was built, it was also a timepiece going into the 1930s and showing how business and life was in the 1930s in Mississippi with the sharecropping and all that and the wooden nickels. This is a whole different type of movie. Yes, Usher was in the fact.
Yeah.
So when he brings up that about why Mexicans weren't put into that movie, that's crazy work when a lot of Mexican population don't want to put black people centered in their stuff also.
Well, it's not like
and I'm not going at all Mexicans. I'm not. But I'm saying out of all the Latinos, it seems like Mexicans have been the most anti-black. So I'm just calling it how I see it.
Y'all don't be running the bodegas in the hood. It be the Asian people, bro.
Well, even the bodegas you talking about Puerto Ricans, Cubans, Dominicans. You're not talking about Mexicans.
No. And that's like New York. So no. Cause like if you really think about it, it be the Asians that be having the stores and not to mention, I know a lot of Asians from the South as is, and they got some of it's wild as hell to see Asians with accents from the South. It's so crazy. So Bo was funny. I like the fact that they gave Bo a good accent.
There's a Chinese continent a contingent in the Delta to this day. Facts. Thomas says right here, Dear Christians, it's just a movie. Calm down, LOL. Mm-hmm. Hollywood stereotypes natives, blacks, and everyone far more. One group.
You gotta spell it J-O-O-S, boo.
Yeah, they don't get stereotyped. Well, YouTube didn't censor him and let him put it in there. So
okay, next time do J-O-O-S.
He slid that one across the plate.
But you right there. I thought the same fucking thing.
Like Machete, I don't even think I watched that movie. I'm like, I like Danny, but
they saying that he was in Dusk Till Dawn too. I mean, yeah, he was in Dusk Till Dawn as well.
That's right. He was in there. That's right.
I know, but they still messed up his makeup and made him look weird. Ain't nobody makeup got fucked up or not, except Cornbread. He got his shit blew back, but shit happens.
And I appreciate you saying that. I do got to push back a little bit. You said that there's not a lot of black population. There are plenty of like the Veracruz area when have Gaspar Yanga. That whole history, and a lot of Mexicans like ignore that history. Or even if you just look at like Telemundo or Univision, you see that they try to put the lightest people ever
on TV. The novellas always got light-skinned ones.
Like these are the people who they always want to forecast. And I mean, the first time I ever saw people walking around with umbrellas for the sun was when I got around more of a Mexican population because they don't want to get darker. That was something that was like, I'm not used to seeing that. Now, granted, where I grew up in the Midwest, a lot of the Mexican population who have been there for generations, we tight. It's this new generation that's been coming in. A lot of the new immigrants are coming in, and people who are coming from Texas and the West Coast. And I feel like, the problems y'all had out there, y'all keep y'all bullshit over there. Quit bringing that shit over here and bringing racism into our community and dividing the black and brown community, which we didn't have. Keep y'all bullshit divisions that y'all have on the West Coast and Texas to yourself. We don't need that. So that's some of my pushback. Yes, of course, there are more Afro-Latino people in Cuba, Puerto Rico, Venezuela, and Colombia. Yes, that's a fact, and that's the reason why I feel like there's more. I don't know, cohesion and more unity dealing with black and brown in those communities because you have a whole lot more mixture. Even the people who look a lot more fair skinned in like Puerto Rico, a lot of them still might be like 20% black, 25% black. Whereas you'll have somebody who looks exactly the same in Mexico with 2%. And I think that makes a huge difference. Not having that mixture in there and not having a sympathetic viewpoint towards that. Oh, gotta shout this out.
Thank you. That's what I was giving love to. I was like, go ahead, bro.
Matter of fact, Cinco de Mayo was able to be able to make it because the beautiful Haitian people who first revolted and beat the French were the ones who helped Mexico. Now, or Mexico, which I want to throw it. That's kind of an interesting tie-in, which I want to throw. If people really think about how many things were thrown into this movie, that's the reason why I'm like, it's a joke to compare.
It's so deep.
Dusk Till Dawn to this is a joke because surface level shell 2 or 3 things are have in common. Okay, yeah, but this movie is so much richer of a movie ever than Dusk Till Dawn could dream to be. And the same thing with most Tarantino movies. They're entertaining, but there's no substance to these. So this is crazy work. You brought in the Haitians part, and we got the voodoo going on. Well, what city did Smoke and Stack go to after leaving Mississippi?
Chicago.
Now, who was Chicago founded by?
Haitians.
Haitian immigrant.
Yo, it's so deep. It's such a great movie.
This in.
I love this movie.
So many things. So another thing that you have with the period piece, like people saw, oh, well, I saw tamale. That's not the tamale you thinking it is. It is a Mississippi dish that is made that is not the same as traditional Mexican tamales. So when people saw that tamale, that's not the same thing because you think, oh, well, that was represented. It's not the same thing. And
y'all want in the Delta that days, okay? Y'all just want in that small ass town. Sometimes small towns just don't have everybody. Damn.
Exactly.
Damn. Let the small town be a small town. Everybody knew Smoke and Stack came back the day them niggas came back. Do you know how crazy small your town has to be for them to recognize you to come back home? I know. I live in a small town. The shit is insane. So
another thing that was interesting with it, what he did now, some people could say he did this on purpose. Some people not. I heard people throw all kind of weird takes on it. And I'm like, sometimes movies are meant to be subjective for you yourself to break down and see what you saw from it. Notice, Smoke, who was always with the smoke, he got the black nuclear family. Even though the child passed away, he had him a black woman, a black relationship. The one who ended up turning into the vampire who people look at, obviously the one who went down the wrong path being
to fuck with that damn half-breed, Shannon.
And I'm like, I don't know if he was doing that on purpose.
Yeah.
He fucking with them white women, this is what to get you.
Yeah, I know that. That's exactly what he did. I don't care what you say.
Dr. Umar, I'm just saying.
I don't care what you say.
But I see that just happened to be something that was there. Another thing that I would throw into it is because this could have been a whole message to the black community in general. Like I heard Larry Johnson flipping out about, you see them doing the jig? Y'all think this is a game doing the jig? No. When Irish people, for one, that's an Irish dance. Now, the jigaboo thing that he brought up, that's when they were forcing black people to do that. Black people weren't being forced in that movie to do that jig thing. These black people who were seeing that and doing the jig dance or whatever is something completely different than, the whole dance and a jig thing, which was brought up as one of the critiques and complaints.
Are you serious? That was a reach.
That was
such a reach.
Larry Johnson was Mr. Angry Man, always on everything, and he a
nappy-headed hoe. That's what he is. Like what? That was a reach, bro. That was a reach. They could have had you would have been the type to be like, did you see that monkey beanie baby on the porch? Porch monkeys. Like, get the fuck out of here, bro. That was a reach.
Well, another thing that I thought was okay. The Asian perspective. I saw some Asian creator was like, we're just happy that he decided to include us in the movie. We appreciate it. Okay, even though Grace had fucked up part, they still appreciate it. But somebody also brought up something. We also got to remember, Grace was the only person who was a mother in there who had a child. Now, there's a lot of people, when their child is in danger, they will do some dangerous or irrational shit for their child. And so I give her a little bit of lenience for that, but also that goes into a message on what they were saying about Black people including other people into Black spaces who are not Black, and how they can mess it up for our community. First, Mary, who uses basically her one drop rule, which, or we'll say 25% rule, and then she goes and does some of the most white girlish shit ever. Let me go walk up to the people
because she thought she could use her privilege. That's why
her white privilege stuff ended up being something that backfired and messed everybody up. And since she had already came into the community, y'all felt comfortable with her, not realizing that just because she was part of the community at one point does not mean she cannot be a detriment and danger later on to the community as a whole. And if she would have never been admitted in the first place, and even if she grew up with them, she probably never would have been able to get in. And that was a problem, that she should have been booted out of there in the first place. Now, that's not a guarantee that she wouldn't have got bit by one of them and they let her in later anyway. But I'm just saying,
Chris, Mary was trying to help. No, Mary was being in the way.
She was trying to help.
She was in the way
of still fucking things up because of her white. I'm not scared of anything. I'll just walk out there, don't thinking about the fucking dangers. What if you went out there and them two white men decided to just take you and have their way with you and then kill you? Then what? It didn't even have to be on no vampire stuff. It could have just been on some other crazy stuff, or they could have been on some clan time of like you out there associating with them people.
And there's so much. There's
so many dangers that she completely just ignored to go right on out there.
That's what happened when you got good dick and your favorite dick came back home, bro. I'm trying to tell you. I'm sorry. I've fell victim to it too. I get it. Doing the most, overextending yourself. She shouldn't have done it. Mary should have never overextended herself for some dick. I understand what she was going through. Her mama just died. She needed some normalcy in her life. I ain't excusing her. I can see it from her point of view.
Wow.
Huh?
He said homegirl is DJ Vlad. Wow.
Bro, yes. Homegirl was DJ Vlad. And like she was just trying to she just wanted her dick back. Like she was trying to do anything that would make her nigga look at her and be like, please pick me. She was a pick me. Unfortunately, she was a pick me her whole life because she really didn't fit in nowhere because she was both, you know what I'm saying, kind of Black, kind of white. Then she got married to she probably got married to a lame. Her husband's a lame white dude in Arkansas. Come on, man. She wanted her nigga back.
She was looked at as a part of the community. She was looked at as a passing. She wasn't looked at as white within the Black community.
We accepted her. Her mama was one of us type shit. Her mama was Creole as a bitch, so we knew her mama type shit. So, you know what I'm saying? So it sucked. And
also, you got to remember another thing that they threw into the movie that made it more difficult in that relationship. Let's say even if Stack wasn't messing with her, you know, on that level. They grew up, her mama partially raised them.
Yeah.
So there was a sense of family and community with her regardless. She was already in the community from a baby. So it's hard to decouple that and push her completely out because she was always accepted. That's the reason why she was able to walk right on in there in the first place. Then the next thing you got to throw in there is the whole Grace situation. It seemed like, I can't remember her husband's name, but he seemed like he was down for the cause. He trying to help out. She like, yo, we here for the money. We party a little bit. We can do business with them, but man, we need to get the fuck out of here.
Well, Bo, you got to also look at Bo. Yeah, Bo had his own store. Bo's store was for the Black people. Grace's store was for the white people.
Mm-hmm.
So she had, and you know, white Asian ladies are mean too, by the way. They run shit. I don't know about anybody else. In the Asian culture, the women run that shit. Period. You feel me? Mm-hmm. So she already had this mindset of what she sees every day with her clientele. You know what I'm saying? With how her clientele reacts in her store and how she has to present herself to them. She went in the instant fight or flight white. Like, she was like, let's get the fuck out of here, bro. And I don't blame her. I get that she was a parent. I wrote that down in my note. I get that she was a parent, but her verbiage, the way that Ryan had her verbiage when she said, we came here for the party, we didn't come here for this. I was like, damn, that's wild crazy. Because that's a true statement. Motherfuckers always come to deal, you know, they always come and hang out with the cool kids until it's not cool no more.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm glad that he put, you know, light to that. But I'm sorry that the Asian community had to take that hit. But it's the truth. I mean, look at Menace to Society. That shit happened because they had a bad encounter with some Asians. You know what I'm saying? Like, they be doing the most sometimes. They don't even need to do the most.
Well, I think just like Mary, she was a parable of like bringing other people into black spaces, and then they end up messing it up for everybody. Like how she invited them in.
Yeah.
All them people slaughtered that way.
Yes.
And more than likely, you couldn't have protected your daughter anyway at that point.
No, because if they would have got her ass, it would already went and been got her ass and came back.
I mean, so how do you know that he already didn't go and get the daughter?
Like, come on, bro.
I mean, so and I would look at it like this: if their goal is to get, if they following Remick, they're a collective mentality. They following Remick. They are there for one reason. They're there to get Sammy.
That's
so
it.
They're not worried about your daughter right now. That's where, you know, fear and that mama tiger stuff, it overrides common sense and logic. And then another thing I'm gonna
y'all trying to pay $5,000 for that? Sorry, I know we were talking about that shit earlier in the show, but y'all trying to pay $5,000 for that type of logical mindset? She took the whole gang down. They could have set that shit out all night.
Mm-hmm. They could have set
that shit out. They could have set that shit out all night.
Now, what they would have probably did eventually,
kill Stack.
No, they knew that she was the weak. She knew that she was the weak point. So they probably would have went and got the daughter and threatened. They would have used the daughter as leverage to get her.
Nigga, then you go outside, Buki. Bye bye.
Mm-hmm.
Ishini.
Yeah. But here's one other angle I want to throw in, because basically when I see the faculty part, how, because he said he took a major influence for the faculty on this. Mm-hmm. And people be like, how did that connect with the faculty? I see the connection. The faculty, remember, the faculty was hive-minded.
Yes, it was.
Remember that one alien girl was the leader of all of them, and they were all operating off of her singular consciousness.
Yeah.
It's the same way how Remick was using all of them. It was a singular consciousness. They were a shared consciousness.
Yeah, because when he got hit in the head with that fucking guitar,
they all were hurting.
They all felt it. And that's that's the first thing they said too. They said he can feel. When they was in the fight scene, they would notice that it was him. It was like he can feel like they feel him, type shit.
Another thing that they did, which was different than all other vampire movies, is when a person got a scar, it didn't heal up. It healed.
Oh, cornbread shit got blew off.
They still had like scars and cuts where you can tell where they had been harmed. Whereas other vampire movies, the scar completely goes away.
Skin regeneration was not in this one.
Okay. Yeah. And so it just basically had fast healing like human, but it still was like human-like. They didn't get supernatural strength.
Nope.
None of those different things. You didn't see no teleportations or none of that. Now, granted, with other ones, they'll probably go deeper into the lore of the vampires within that movie. Mm-hmm. But another thing, which I feel like he said the faculty, but I feel like his biggest influence had to be Robert Johnson. Because, and I'm gonna explain what I mean. Of course, you can make the easy tie to Sammy and Robert Johnson, but not just there. The way he used Smoke and Stack also. Robert Johnson had a connection with Mississippi and Chicago. Most people don't tie that together. Another thing is Robert Johnson had a traumatic experience losing his wife and his child. He lost two wives, and he lost a child also, which that is very comparison to what happened with Smoke.
Mm-hmm.
You got the whole Mississippi and Chicago thing that ties with him going on the road. Also, young Sammy in the movie, he also, yes, OG Robert, yes, Crossroads. And you talk about how, well, Sammy didn't sell his soul, but a deal was made. Smoke made a deal with Stack so he wouldn't harm him to get him out of that situation, and that he would never touch him. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
So we made a deal that I would never touch you. So that was the deal that he was made. So instead of his soul being given to the devil, a deal was made so that he would be freed from the demons.
He got to keep his soul.
So you took the Robert Johnson situation and flipped it on his head. Now, Robert Johnson, supposedly at the Crossroads, after that, that's when his career took off.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't really take off. That's when he got all this notoriety and got a cult-like fame. And then he dies a year after that. And then he gets all his praise and accolades like 30 years after his death. But in this one, they flipped it. They keep him alive, and he goes on and he gets that career, which Robert Johnson never got. Also, Robert Johnson, one of the belief systems was, the devil came and collected. It could have been undiagnosed and untaken care of syphilis that he died from.
Mm-hmm.
Or some of the rumors is that he died from one of the women's husbands that he was fooling around with that poisoned him.
Damn.
And there's even a story about him taking liquor from somebody and that being knocked out of his hand multiple times and arguing and fighting about that. Now, what did Sammy do in that movie? Sammy was messing with a married woman.
Yes, he was.
That's another tie to Bobby Johnson, Robert Johnson, right there. So
coochie hot too, y'all.
Yes,
she walked to the juke joint and said something about it. That's how you knew her shit was hot.
Now, Robert Johnson, a lot of people considered him playing the devil's music and all that, and that is what his father was ranting against him for.
His dad cursed him.
His dad cursed him. And
his daddy cursed him before he left that plantation that day, bro. I don't care what nobody say. Tongue is the life and death, baby. That man cursed him before he walked out the door.
He did curse him. And if people are like, well, how did he curse him? When he started talking about how that music is going to be the end of you and the devil's coming to collect and all that.
Yeah, why you put that
on him? You put that on him by your words. Another thing, like my favorite part of the movie though, was the dance floor scene when it's showing the spirituality and the connections of the different genres, and it's showing all these people's traditional ancestral playing, how it's tying in, and so it threw the different cultural elements from different parts of West Africa, and because you had the two Asians there, which I'm assuming more than likely they were not both the same. He had Bo had to have some kind of other mixture because they use different elements of Asian.
The Asian dance, that wasn't just China. Thank you for noticing.
One China, they threw some other stuff that was Southeast Asia in there. Because they threw in like the Monkey Man stuff, and the Monkey Man is a prophecy thing that goes in various different parts of Southeast Asia, Thailand, Indonesia. All that was thrown in there, and then you go into some of the stuff he put fingerprints on it, but he didn't talk about it with some of the voodoo or hoodoo, whichever way you want to put it, of basically little remnants of Papa Legua was thrown in there. So it was a lot that was thrown into this movie, and so many different angles, which you could see them go in from there, and the indigenous songs and the way and also about Remick. Well, he's looking for a spirit, because obviously when this happens, you lose your soul. And so basically you become into this collective. And that's what he's searching for through Sammy. And obviously he was searching for it before that with the Choctaw.
Man, they was about to light his ass up, bro. I ain't gonna hold you. I loved how the Choctaw came in. They asked that lady one time. They was like, yo, we looking for somebody. And then she was like, he was like, oh, he here? Man, that man said the sun going down. He was like, shit. Peace be with you, bitch. Bye. And them niggas.
Well, this is something I
skedaddled. I loved it. I love that part.
I learned this from Native American TikTok. And Thomas, if you're still in here, correct me if I'm wrong on this, because I'm just going off of what I heard. It said that Native American TikTok, a Native American TikTok was talking about, well, people were complaining about they wish they would have seen the Choctaw in there more. They're like, when you're dealing with spiritual elements and stuff like that, the trickster and things, Native Americans don't be out after dark dealing with that.
No. That's their playground.
Like, that's why they wouldn't have been there at nighttime to deal with that at all.
They know better. They know better. They said, oh, sun going down. All right. Oh, we'll fuck with y'all niggas in the morning.
They like, yeah, we know when this motherfucker is most powerful. We know.
Yes, we know when he got the juice. Nah.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all have a good night. Figure it out.
There's only one thing. There's one thing which didn't make sense to me. One question. If I said one plot hole that I felt never got answered. Where did Remick come from in that scene? Because Remick looked like he just dropped out of the damn sky.
I know it
Out of nowhere, and I'm like, okay, it was a lot of room from any kind of shaded place his ass could have been running from. He had been in the sun quite a while. All that smoking he was doing.
Hey, maybe he can turn into a bat. Maybe they got the bat powers.
That's what I'm wondering. That's an element that they didn't show. That he is in an extreme situation, he is able to convert into something else.
Yeah, skinwalker. He could have been a wolf. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. That's why it goes more to that Native American folklore. Like, I wonder what he's doing, because in a lot of Native American folklore, the crow or raven is looked at as evil.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering if he transformed himself into a raven or something like that to escape.
Did you see? Well, if you when they first pan onto the house, you see the big ass birds on the top of that bitch. So I peeped that too. But they also followed Stack and Smoke the whole movie. Those birds were always in the scene in the movie. It was always around. Some weird shit. That shit was such a good movie. Ah!
Oh, I gotta put that. Well, I gotta put John's comment up there. He's like, they were like, these white people do not listen. They don't listen.
Where the guy, John? They was like, oh, he in here? As soon as he was like, oh, he inside. Shit. Well, peace be with you. Got on his horse and left their asses. I love it.
They're like, okay, boom, give you one warning. Oh, fool, y'all and y'all racist bullshit. Fine.
Okay, cool. Have a good night.
And so I like that. And like when, yes, exactly, E. That drop-in was kind of wild. Now, we got another thing that I said to Teal the other day. And I was like, yo, there's a possibility that something we thought we saw is not what we think we saw. And something can change. Now, some people will call it retconning, but it's something that could be definitely changed. Here, let me put this on the screen for you.
Hey, Denise.
But or D Nice.
That's D Nice, yeah. D Nice.
But I told y'all, I told Teal, I said, how do we know for a fact that that Smoke is dead? We don't know that for a fact. We saw basically like almost like an ancestral plane kind of thing, which he did with Black Panther, and him seeing his wife who had died, and we saw him there embracing his baby. Mm-hmm. But also when people are near death, those kind of things can happen. We don't know that at that point he had already taken care of the clan members, which that was also an excellent scene. I loved it.
Yes.
Which also he could have taken them out from a distance and didn't have to walk out of cover. But when I saw him take the thing off his neck, that told me, oh, he ready to die. He didn't want protection. So he intentionally wanted to go out, and he wanted to die.
He wanted his baby back. He wanted to see
exactly.
Eddie. I love that movie.
But I also look at it like this. How do we know that Stack didn't want to keep his brother alive? And we don't know actually where he went. We saw him just take Mary away. For all we know, he could have been hiding in that barn. And we saw Remick was able to run that long in the sun without, and able
bursting into flames.
Not bursting instantly in flames. They could have both ran out there, grabbed him real quick, dragged him back in, bit him. Now he's an undead. Now he's actually, part of it. So you could see a possibility in a future version of this movie where you have Smoke and Stack still there.
I'm telling you, that movie was so fucking good. Sinners is so good. I gotta go see it on Tuesday. I gotta see it again. The hoodoo that they put in it was so accurate. I felt seen. It was really, really nice. Annie's whole character was very beautiful. Shout out to Ryan Coogler's wife too, who bought him that $300 software that got us to Sinners right now. She's really the MVP of life because she did a damn good job investing in her nigga. Like, good job investing in. That's how you invest in your man. That's how you bring something to the table.
That's how you
bring something to the table, ladies. I've been waiting to drop it this whole time since that first conversation, Mark. So I just want to let you know that I've been holding on to this. I wrote it down in my notes today. Seeing how he represented Black women in this movie, how he gave Annie the power of discernment, how he let Annie be a spiritualist, how she wasn't your condition, like she wasn't a normal looking Black girl that you pick Instagram. She wasn't none of that. She was a down home shorty that was cooking for the fucking hood. She had mojo bags. She prayed over you. She made sure you were straight. Like, she was such a supportive character to him. And I loved their interaction, their connection. Ryan made her so accurate with her juju bag when she was throwing bones on the table and she could see the fate of the world. Like, she saw the fate of the night. She knew who was
gonna die.
Bro, that shit was crazy.
Promise to take her out.
That shit was so crazy. It's such a beautiful thing, bro. That movie was so beautiful. But Annie.
Oh, what? Oh, we gotta talk about that. Chris H. Chris H. must have not saw it.
I heard that in 1990s period, one of the twins is survived. Yes, they did.
Mm-hmm.
That's like in the second cut.
That was the second in credit scene.
Yeah. So technically it was the first one because it was like mid credit, and they had that end credit with the song. So yeah, mid credit, Sammy gets away. He does not get turned or anything. Stack and Mary leave him alone because they made a deal with Smoke about it, and he honored that deal. Fucking old boy, Sammy's old as fuck in 92, playing all his damn life. Somehow, some way, that fucking guitar gets put back together. Crazy. That was a good part too. He gets the fucking guitar back together, and the boy Stack and Mary come see him in the club after a good night of playing the fucking guitar and shit. And he was like, you know what I'm saying? We let you live your whole life. We could turn you now if you want to, you know what I'm saying? Do your thizzle, but that's on you or whatever. But Smoke told me not to touch your ass, so we're not touching your ass. But you finna die soon, so let me know. And it was so cool. Like, if you looked in the whole scene, they didn't have no reflection in the mirror behind the bar. It was so dope. Ryan really thought this bitch out. And y'all trying to say Dusk Till Dawn?
Yeah.
Y'all trying to say Black Dusk Till Dawn? Fuck out of here.
Dusk Till Dawn was clown work compared to this.
No, he thought everything. He thought about keeping your word, how even with the spiritual realm, you got to keep your word. If you said that shit, you said that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? They told me not to touch you. I ain't gonna touch you. That shit was gangster.
They also threw in something I'd never seen in any of these movies as far as fighting vampires. We all know that garlic hurts them, but we ain't never seen nobody throw garlic water.
No. Pickled garlic was crazy work.
Pickled garlic work? What?
Pickled garlic was crazy work. Pickled garlic was wild work.
Another thing that was different as far as the vampires in here is you didn't have to like bite their neck and do a certain kind of ritual. It was any biting, and you
anywhere. Yeah, they were strategic with it too. Yeah, bro, Rondo. Even in the afterlife, your word is your bond. I love that dynamic that it had. Like, it was crazy. Man, honestly, I thought when they were in that body of water and he started praying the prayer, maybe because he didn't finish the prayer, I don't fucking know, but I thought the water should have started getting blessed. That's just me.
Yes, I did bring up Thomas, I did bring up about the Choctaws' role in it, and I said, here, I guess I'll ask this question. I said, I don't know how much is true, but I heard on Native American TikTok, they were saying that a lot of Native Americans, if they're dealing with some spiritual stuff, they do not go out after dark. And I was like, I don't know how true that is, but that's what they were talking about. But that was interesting what you brought up about owls. Let me bring that comment back up on the screen. It says, some of that is true. It depends on which culture and traditions, which I do realize there's multiple different cultures. So in some people, things are going to be different. Some of us very spiritual, and we see the owl as omen and messengers. And I'd heard that ravens and crows were often supposed to be like a representation of the trickster, which I don't know. And I guess it would all depend on which tribe, and I'm not sure exactly where the Choctaw stand on that, or which other tribes. But it was interesting, like, and you could tell like they played a lot off of Robert Johnson, because if you go into like his roughly 30 songs he did, many of them talked about like the devil. It talked about like, you know, it had a lot of a supernatural twist on it. And even if you don't believe the whole he went to the crossroads and sold his soul to the devil or whatever, even just the other story that what is his name, Zimmerman, this guitar player, that they used to practice in the graveyard because they said the dead don't hear, of course. That's just some crazy work. And, you know, I saw Warren talking about how Mississippi is haunted as fuck. I believe a lot of those places, because of some of the stuff that went on, you definitely have tons and tons of those different things going on and elements. So, yeah, it was a whole lot going on.
It's a great, deep, thick. It's a thick movie. You got to see it more than once. It's thick. I can't wait to see it again on Tuesdays just so I can see other shit. Because, like, the fact that I was, like, already, like, looking for stuff the whole time, like, especially when I didn't even know Annie's character existed until the movie started. I mean, I saw who she was, you know what I'm saying, in the clips where they were talking to Cornbread or whatever, and she was like, you ain't got to talk to him, you can talk to me. That's when I started finding out that it was spiritual or on a hoodoo level. Because I ain't gonna hold you, the hoodoo communities that I do follow, it was a blaze. It was like, representation. But when she, like, off the gate, when she was doing the mojo bag for him, do you still got that mojo bag I made for you?
Wow. I knew she was gonna have I knew she was gonna have some kind of a major part the moment I saw her in there, because I'm like, oh, I recognize her.
Yeah, she important.
It was, what was the show where Lovecraft Country.
Love Laugh Country, yeah.
That was, I knew she was the one who was like doing the back and forth between the black girl, the white girl thing. Mm-hmm. So I know she normally plays some kind of crazy spiritual kind of roles and parts. So I was expecting some kind of twist with her.
Crazy.
But another thing that was big that they threw in is sharecropping. Like, that was a big part of life back then. And I can't remember what's his name, Delroy Lindo's character, who's playing the harmonica, when he's talking about the chain gang. Yes. When he was talking about that stuff on the chain gang and about how loitering, he threw that in. That's a big fact. A lot of people ended up on chain gangs because of loitering.
Yep.
So I don't know. It's a lot that's in there, and I'm pretty sure there's more and more. Thank you, Delta Slim. Chris H knew what I was talking about, but a lot of elements that you see that were brought up in there, and I'm pretty sure there's more Easter eggs I'll see the second time around seeing it that I didn't see the first time. Mm-hmm. But yes, charge of vagrancy. I mean, and that goes into a lot of the Jim Crow stuff, and then. It was cool how he also threw out there talking about, oh, y'all went to Chicago. Is it different? He was like, nah.
This PlayStation with tall buildings.
With big buildings, yep. In which a lot of it, that dispels that narrative of in the North, going to Chicago or New York got you away from the Klan and racism. So it's interesting.
Hell yeah, John. They still had chain gangs. And remember, so I'm from the 757. Remember when Allen Iverson, if you know the story about Allen Iverson, if you remember how he got arrested for whatever he did in the 90s, if you don't know, go Google it. They put him on a chain gang. They put Allen Iverson on one, which is crazy because it was right around here. You know what I'm saying? And I live in small town areas like that shit where there are still sections of our city that has nothing but rows of cotton and shit.
Oh yeah, Warren put in there big time Chicago, Mississippi connections. I'll throw in another one because I brought up the Robert Johnson one, but here I'll throw up another connection. The Emmett Till.
Yeah, I was about to say Emmett Till
going down to Mississippi,
getting killed down there.
So that movie evoked so many different things and went into historical lenses, and it went into spirituality, and it went into like, some of traditions and cultures that came out of West Africa, and tying back a relationship of Black Americans in Africa, in which and also basically a dichotomy between hoodoo spirituality and Christianity. And even Remick brought in about how Christianity was forced on his people. I mean, it threw in a whole lot of different elements.
KKK is still around.
Oh, the Lakota. Let me put this on the screen.
Oh, thank you.
The Lakota see the coyote as a trickster, and some tribes see the raven as a trickster. The owl or raven or possum is a trickster, depending on the clan. Yeah, I've heard a lot about the raven in particular. I didn't know that about the coyote. I didn't know that about the owl. I've definitely heard the crow, the raven, possum.
Hey, Thomas,
so I could get that.
Okay, when did y'all drop the O in possum? The first O.
Oh, the O before it was opossum?
Yeah, because that's a Cherokee word. I'm Cherokee. I'm part Cherokee, so that's a Cherokee word. So I always want to ask when people are like, when did y'all drop the O? When did the O get dropped? Still uses change. What? Oh, of course, bro. That's Angola. Nigga, you made me think like that was somewhere in freaking Florida or some shit.
And I can tell you why there's a problem with Hollywood. Man, I would say that there's a huge problem with Hollywood. They keep telling the same stories from the same perspectives. This movie helps to change that. I can tell you the reason why they do it. And when I tell you it's not, you're going to be like, that's it. The main reason is because it's easier to translate these movies into other languages when you have a basically more simplistic storyline, and keeps it closer to it. Also, you have less risk when you do something that's already a proven hit and you just throw it back out there, repackage it, or make part twos and sequels or prequels. It's lazy. It's lazy, and it's taking the least amount of risk. That's the only reason why they do that. And I worry with AI, you're gonna have more of that happening.
I hope not.
Because you gotta this goes into the whole problem with this nation as a whole. The more you have the son of the original creator, like you have the people who first came out to Hollywood, they took chances, they tried new writers and directors. Now they had Casting Couch and all kind of other weird shit they was doing. But still, when it came to the creativity, they listened, they thought about it. I think that'll work. Then the next generation came along, and they're more college a little bit. They listen to some ideas. You can kind of convince them, but the same token, they were college educated and went off of certain formulas. Now to this newer generation, they're basically like, okay, so if we put this actor in there and show a boob about two or three nude scenes, action scene happens in the first 3 minutes, and they follow these formulas. That's the problem with new Hollywood. That's not somebody who like has a love for this industry anymore. They have a love for the money that brings them, but they don't care about the product that's being put out. That's the reason why they'll do whatever for the money. It's not that they're not putting black men and women and Asians and all that all thrown together in a movie because they really care about inclusion. They're thinking if I put in an Indian woman and I put in a Chinese man and a black woman and a mixed person and somebody in a wheelchair, they're thinking they can make money off of all these demographics.
DEI.
It's DEI for money. They're not doing it because they're really trying to give you representation or inclusion. It's about thinking they can maximize more profits by bringing in more audiences.
Because this movie had no nudity in it.
Mm-hmm.
Not a single booby. They did a lot of suggestive, which I was hyped because, man, I'm gonna say it again.
You don't need
Sammy
that.
ate hot some coochie.
Sammy
ate some hot coochie, bro.
Yeah.
He ate some hot twat that night and still got out there and sung.
Shit, that's probably why he sang so good. No, I'm just playing.
Just saying. Just saying.
Yeah.
Messing with a married woman. I ain't gonna hold you. Married people smell different. I don't know. Married people smell different. They ain't gonna hold you. I messed around with a married person before. They smell different.
Mm-hmm.
That shit was crazy. But there was no nudity in that movie, and I appreciated that. There were some very sensual scenes, yeah, very sensual stuff, but there was no nudity, and I appreciated Ryan for that. That shit was so beautiful. Cornbread was dope. He ain't had to go that far to pedo. Cornbread ain't had to walk that far.
Sure, why didn't he go inside?
He ain't had to walk that far outside. He ain't had to walk no goddamn where, to be honest. I'm not walking outside after I just see some weird white people. I'm scared they're just gonna pick me up and try to lynch me anyway. Come on now, this is Mississippi in 1932.
Mm-hmm. And how you know they ain't got backup?
That's it. Yeah, those are the first three that popped up. Now they about to set the whole bitch on fire. You crazy as hell. I'm not with it. No, I wrote that down too. Cornbread didn't have to go that far. Cornbread didn't have to go that far.
Well, I like how quick Delta Slim caught on to him. Like, whoa, wait a minute. Why you need your permission? You've been coming in and out here all night. Why are you acting different?
Yeah. Like, what?
Because if Delta Slim didn't say nothing, Smoke would have let him walk right up in there.
Yeah.
Smoke would have like, man, what are you doing? Come on in here,
man. And Cornbread was big too. That was a big motherfucker to have on their team. I always thought about that. You always got to get a big burly motherfucker. Shannon Sharp head ass get bit. And Shannon Sharp would be our downfall. He get bit by a white bitch.
Oh, we all done.
We done.